Cool. Yeah, today Feb 26th, SIG Release Meeting. So let me go ahead and share that. Mhm. Can you see the screen?
Yep.
Okay,
Yes.
cool. Thank you so much. Cool. Yeah, I think the couple of items you added, the first two items, I think. Let's start with that. And then anybody who wants to add more items, please let's keep on adding to this. Yeah. So Larry, did you add the first item or somebody else?
Yeah, those are mine.
Okay, good. Yeah, please. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. So I've been working on. I've already mentioned this on a previous meeting. I've been working on a dependency tracker to add to our whole system.
Yeah.
So far, I've tested few solutions. Each of them have their own downsides, but Dependabot seems to be the easiest regarding to integration with GitHub. It has its own problems, namely with the kinds of repositories we have. So with multiple Go mod files, for example, it doesn't have any regex definitions for where the config sits, where it should look for to track the dependencies. So you basically have to hard code every path for every Docker file, Go mode, whatever you want to track. So I basically finished the job for GitHub Actions to actually for every PR or every push to the repo to regenerate this config. So basically just go through all the files, find the whatever is defined in a config, whether it's like Docker files or whatever, and generate dependable configuration for it and push it to back to the repo. That's basically the only way to do it now. There is an open issue for Dependabot for it for quite some time now, and probably not gonna change anytime soon. So we have to use this kind of workaround. I'm just doing a few more tests on it. Hopefully, I will push it tomorrow. Yeah, I'm really hesitant to just open the floodgates on it because you can limit how many PRs it can open, and I would say 5 may be the reasonable number. And if somebody takes some of the bigger jobs, let's say, and fixes some all dependencies for multiple components, just next run it won't be detected and it wouldn't be so I guess so tiring to just see, like, because I've tested this on a fork. It first run it opened like 50 something PRs, so I guess we don't really want to do it. That's one thing. The other thing is, like, every PR is gonna go through our test infrastructure, so we also don't want to flood this with too many PRs. So I guess the 5 would be 5 every day, because it's gonna run like. But for now, I plan to run it daily. Later on, we can just extend this period of time. I mean, how often do you update things around, like the base image or some dependency libraries? So that's one thing. The other thing is I've added the ARIA Porch to Nefio label, as Istvan suggested to add, because there's gonna be for sure some incoming Porch work going on, and I had this on a backlog for quite some time. So the thing is, the labels in GitHub and labels in Pro, those kind of live in separate spaces. So if you want to use like a slash command from Pro to add the label to say to your PR to mark it as a kind bug or area Pro or whatever, sorry, area port or whatever, and then this labels also has to be specified in Pro configuration and vice versa. So there is a tool to sync this between those two entities and to keep the configuration in test infra repo. I've done some tests long time ago on it. There were some problems, so I'm gonna be working on it this week to have this tool synced. Because I've seen on a few PRs that people trying to assign some label or something, it wasn't working, so it's for sure adding to a frustration. So yeah, just those two things I've got for now. Yeah, that's about it.
Cool. Thank you so much. So the label sync, like you said, Rado, we've been talking about it. That's good. And the first one, probably I did not understand the complete thing when you said when it opens the multiple PRs part. Do you mind explaining that again? I actually probably did not understand that part.
Yeah, so it is a tool to track the dependency. So you're using some kind of like external library, and it's getting a version bump, or it has like a security fix.
Yeah.
This will every 24 hours for now. This will run. Check out like a Go mod files, or sorry, the Docker files, and if there's like a newer version, it will create the PR containing the code to bump this particular dependency up. Sometimes it's very straightforward. You just merge it and call it a day. Sometimes it needs a change in code. So it might be as well. It might be a lot of work. So let me maybe show you by example, if I can share my browser.
Please go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
I don't know if this is visible.
Let me go back to, I'll do a stop share. Let's see whether, yeah, I can see it now. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So those are the PRs opened by one of the runs of Dependabot. I was testing on my basically a clone of Nephew project.
Okay.
And from what on the last meeting, we've talked briefly with Wim about this. So what he was saying, like for example, this bump, the API machinery version change, this will require a lot of work, changing the code of the underlying KRM functions here. So that's probably quite something. Those two first, this is just a quick merge, and it should work. Just if it goes through end to end, it's all good. So as you see, we got quite some dependencies that are outdated. By not much sometimes, but it might be a critical. It might contain like a CVE against it or whatever. So this will automatically create the PRs to make this change. As I was saying, some of them will need a lot of work. Some of them it will be just merging the proposal. So it looks like if you go into one of those, so it's basically doing like this really really nasty job sometimes for you. So
Okay.
that's pretty cool. Sometimes it might make a mess. So it's ultimately for whoever's volunteering to take a look on it, to do a review, to test it, or just to see if it's not if that's the version bump that we actually want. We might not. We might rely on some functionalities that's gonna be removed in a further version or whatever. That's might have a lot of different scenarios. So if you just don't like it, or for some reason you don't want it, you will just close pull request. It will not open it in the next run, or you might reopen it manually after some time and act on it. So it's really a very useful tool. It's also one of the very highly scored requirements in OpenSSF scorecard that was implemented not a long time ago. So it gives us, so to speak, a lot of points
Okay,
when
awesome.
it comes to keeping to the to the software delivery standards, whatever. So that's basically how it looks like.
Awesome. So yeah, I think so. Basically, like you said, if at all I close it, probably it keeps track of what it advised. Then it will not say that again. Is that right? Is that how it works?
Yeah, if you close this particular PR, it will not complain about it anymore.
Okay, unless there is a newer version.
Unless there is a next version bump, it will show it. Yes. So the problem with, as I was saying, the problem with configuration here is it doesn't have like an asterisk kind of like a globe expansion, so we cannot put like operators slash and the star, and it will just look in the subdirectories or whatever. You have to basically like a hard code every path to where you figure like your Go mod file or your Docker file sits and so on. So I'm just polishing the job in GitHub Actions that will automatically regenerate this config file every push or every PR to this repository. So I'll hopefully finish it pretty soon. So yeah, that's what's been going on for me.
Awesome. Yeah, I think this is definitely a very useful tool. Radu, like you said, in some cases, I can see multiple scenarios. Just to summarize what you said, in some cases it's pretty straightforward. Yes, we want this. Let's merge it. In some cases, the second scenario is yes, this is needed, but it requires a lot of work. Such as the example that you gave on the API machinery, then we'll say we'll postpone it. And the third scenario is no, we do not want to merge because it's gonna break something because we have some dependency. For example, let's say we have some kernel dependency on particular thing, and if something else will break. So I think those are the three scenarios. But the good thing is it will just open the PR and they'll give us everybody a chance to review and then take an action accordingly. There is yeah, I think if let's say particular library is used in multiple repos, let's say one in management cluster, one in workload cluster. I think since they are running separately, they have different life cycles anyway. I think it's okay. I think this is done per repo per this is run on a per repo basis, right? Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Awesome. I think I really like it. Thanks, Rado, for doing this.
Right, cool.
So anyone else has a questions, concerns, comments on this one for Rado? All right. Yeah, and on the second thing, so yeah, I think label sync, and we have been talking about syncing between Pro and stuff. You're making, and thanks for creating the Porsche repo as well. So I wanted to talk about the branching strategy today, but I wanted Tal and Wim to be here. They're very passionate about it. I know we can slightly discuss here. We had a few options. Uh, starting with one option was just to create a stable branch, and then just use that stable branch. There's only two branches. One is one is called stable, and one is called uh, the one is called the main branch or the track where the development goes on. The problem with that approach would be, for every release you have to resync between stable and main. The other approach that we thought about is probably many people were inclining towards, like, you create a branch per release. For example, let's say let's gonna hit, right now we are on main, and then there is a 3.0 on some point in summer. Then we're gonna create the 3.0 branch. And then when there's a 4.0, then we'll create a 4.0 branch. And then any patch release that happens after that. For example, let's say we do a 3.0, and then there's a 3.0 branch for that. Then the one thing we need to do is, obviously, the development will go on in main or the branch. So we need to make sure that that particular fix is reflected in both the branches. That's the main thing. That's the only difference. We need to cherry pick sometimes the fixes that we make into main, into the branch, if we are doing a hot fix release or something. I think that may be a bit more cleaner, is what I'm thinking, because what it helps us is, in the main branch, we can keep doing development, anything that we want for the 3.0 without worrying about whether it's going to affect any patch release or anything. And then any particular patch releases that we are going to do on a main release branch, we can just use that release branch that we did, without polluting any code, without worrying about the sanity of what's in the branch or what's in the main. So that's what my mind is at. And it will also help. It will also help in terms of the release activity that we do in the during the release time. For example, all the catalog files that we need to change to the particular tag / branch version. Those changes will only reside in the branch, and then we don't need to recheck him back in the main that we had to do now. So having said that, Rado, I think we need to probably coordinate with Sagar to do some changes to that, isn't it? To get into the catalog main, because I'm pretty sure it's still, unless he has changed it, it still points to the 2.0 tag. So I think things like that, that's what my mind is set. I'd like to hear from all of you. What do you guys think? I'm thinking probably creating a branch per release. Anybody, any concerns? Obviously, we're going to discuss it at a wider forum, but I just want to hear from you all. What do you guys think? Okay, stunned silence. All right, so Rado, you have any opinion?
Yeah, I can hear you better.
Okay,
So
cool.
sorry, I got a phone call. If you were addressing me,
Yeah.
of course, every time it's either a delivery or somebody calls me. I don't know.
Yeah, no problem. So essentially what I was saying, Rado, was probably we should, if at all we are going for a branching strategy, we should go do one branch per release
Um,
rather
yeah,
than creating a stable branch.
I mean, there are few, at least few ways to do it. I like this one. It's it's the host APD releases. I don't know if it's visible.
Yeah, it's kind of visible. Yeah.
So, but yeah, but that doesn't matter the numbers. I cannot see them on my own screen. So,
Yeah.
but just from the color coding, and so you have like a main or
Yeah.
whatever, create the tag when you release, when you decide to release, and then from the contents of this tag you have your branch created, in which branches you keep those versions updated. So, for example, we decide we have branch V2 and we will maintain V2 for whatever feature set it's gonna contain. Like, for example, some company is using it, so we're gonna, I don't know, like a backport, security fixes to it, or just create some additional features or whatever. And then from this point, like this first green uh, release here, then you proceed with your normal development on your main, and then you get to the same situation. You tag the repo, make branch out of it, and you keep it there.
Yeah, that's essentially what I'm saying. Yeah, Rado. That's
So
exactly
I
what I'm
guess
saying.
I guess that's the simplest, that's the easiest to understand. It creates the least amount of mess and confusion. But
Yes.
I mean, I'm very open to any other suggestions. It's I mean, we might
So
all discuss some different approaches here. That's just one I like. That so that's kind of like, but ultimately it's not for for me or us, meaning the SIG release. It's just whatever you guys feel like it's gonna help you with your development work um, for the Nephi project. Right?
yeah, I think yeah, part of it is sin signals because we need to think about the just like the use cases you mentioned, right? Right? If it is widely adopted, and when there's a support cycle comes in, for example, let's say we had to support two releases uh, from the community perspective, then we should be able to backport fixes, backport security fixes, and then we need to make sure that at any point of time somebody can access to a stable code base for the released code. Of course, we can do it now with the tags, but the thing is, the moment we have to create a fix or anything, we just need to branch it anyway. Uh, I think from a supportability perspective and also from the clean uh, supportability, consumption, and ease of backporting, etc. Creating this is exactly what I meant by creating a branch per release makes sense. Then that particular, even if you want to do a Z release out of the branch, we can do that. For example, let's say we are to 3.0.0 and then we need to release a 3.0.1. We could do that out of that branch. Uh, the only extra work would be, some fixes you may need to cherry pick across main and a branch. That's the only thing I can think of, but that's not a big deal. The tools will help us do a cherry picking of a particular fix across main and the individual branch. So at least I'm I think I'm in line with what you're saying, that this is exactly what I was saying. So others, any concerns with this approach or any other alternatives that you can think of?
We don't have TAL on.
Yes, we don't have talent web. Obviously, we are not going to make a decision, but at least we'll propose something in the thing. And then obviously, Tal and Wim had a different viewpoint. We'll propose this, and then at some point of time, if we do not hear the feedback, we'll make a decision. But obviously, we will propose this to the wider forum. because we'll have to make a decision between it is not an immediate decision that we need to make, but at least something we have to decide, in the sense that we have something to look forward to, and uh, something to set expectations. Uh, the other thing that we need to do, Rado, was, I don't know whether we changed the catalog back to main now. I don't think we did, right?
Mm,
I think probably we can coordinate with Sagar if he has that files again. Probably we have to revert that particular thing into a new commit. Probably we can, but I'm pretty sure our main, if it's not, then obviously it's not testing our daily CI jobs, or it is not testing the latest code.
that's probably to revert this commit would be the faster
Okay.
approach, and it will just but yeah, I'm
Yeah.
not sure. I would have to go through if there were any changes or whatever was going on to this repo, so we not make a mess. But
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly. So I
I
think,
have to look into it.
okay, cool. But with this, if we go with this particular strategy that you're showing, then we don't need to do that anymore, because it will only reside in the branch, and main will always be,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
That's I guess that's long lived standard that
yeah,
in leaves the all the fresh and the bleeding edge things, but it's not considered to be stable or sometimes even usable. But it's for those who rely on releases which were either tags or branches.
yeah, yeah. So, so a couple of things. Thank you. Let's propose this, and then let's see what the wider team has to say. If they have any particular opinion, any concerns, on the based on that, we can make a decision on this particular stuff. So the other thing, last meeting I missed, Rado, did we make any decisions on GitHub Actions versus this one, Pro, or how they can leave each other with a local runner, etc.? Did we make any decision there, or did we?
There was no decision
Okay,
made. Just for now, there is very promising looking work done using GitHub Actions um, for some of our CI
okay,
jobs. I don't think we're gonna abandon Pro totally, or just look for some other solutions. But it would be a good move to move at least the heavy lifting to the GitHub Actions and to external runner there. Just first of all, not to put the strain or on Pro infrastructure or scale it even more. That's one thing, and the other thing is it also it also has for some things it has, first of all, a better integration. Second of all, it allows to create more sophisticated jobs and pipelines than Pro allows, without any doing some like a nasty hacks, which then you will have to basically maintain. So there was no like a decision done to do it. We just I think it will just come like organically
okay,
over time. So whatever's gonna look better run by GitHub Actions, it's gonna live there. And I guess I see Fiacra has a hand raised. He's done a lot of very interesting work in this field. So probably Fiacra, if you want to talk.
Yeah, no, just on the GitHub. So we're adding some GitHub Action workflows to the Porch project, which were there already. So the kept project was using them already to run their end-to-end CI anyway. So I've kind of reinstated those. One for the end-to-end and one for testing the CLI, the port CTL command. But there was stuff I was doing around the Elastic runners for the Nefio code base. Yeah, it's an option. I think our end to end is up around an hour and a half. Is it at the moment, Rado? I don't know.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, up to 2 hours.
but
sometimes.
that's not feasible, really. Well, for me anyway, if you wanted to test the PR on Nefio, and push it up and wait 2 hours, it's not really. It doesn't appeal to me anyway. So I think there should be work done there to reduce that time anyway. Um, we still have an issue in terms of Prow. I don't know. I think it's just for new workflows, is it, Brado? I don't know. When you push a new workflow, Prow doesn't like to merge it for some reason.
Yeah.
But I think editing or updating existing workflows is fine. But yeah, but just for the Safe Porch in particular, just to note, there are so we're adding GitHub Actions, the GitHub Action workflows there to run the CI jobs. There's one in already, and there's one outstanding PR to add the CLI end to end. Yeah.
Okay, so if we were to use both, is there a clear separation of concerns in terms of who is better at what? I'm just, this is a very generic question for, I know we are doing a lot of these assignments and other controls using Pro. So if you were to do both, where will be, uh, how will we decide who's the best candidate for what?
For me, I only know the GitHub Actions, a month or so, and from looking at it very early days, it looks much more appealing than Prow, and much more feature rich and easy to use than Prow. What do we get from Prow, Rado? Like you get the magic words and you get the kind of repo management stuff. I think GitHub offers stuff like that anyway out of the box, but um, yeah, I think for if we were to implement an end-to-end uh, an end-to-end test suite or CI suite for the Nefio controllers, independent of the sandbox, if you like, or not independent, but separate to the Free5GC use case. For me, I would err towards using a GitHub Actions with some kind of Elastic runner in GCP to allow it to run on. That's just my opinion, but I think it's if Prow is, because if I'm understanding correctly, Prow was added by some of the early Nefio people that came from the Kubernetes space originally. And it was added because they knew it, and it was a maybe Stephen or someone else can correct me if I'm wrong, but that's my understanding, that it was added early days because it was a technology that was kind of known from Kubernetes space. Whereas I don't think using it to build Docker images doesn't really fit for me for some reason. I don't know.
Yeah, it's you're partially right, but Prow is not only CI, so that's the thing. It takes care of a few different things. For example, it keeps the repo policies by just reapplying them like on a cron base. It can be configured manually in GitHub. That's right, but in this way you have like a centralized way of controlling all your repos. So like you want to enforce not to be able to force push to master or
Yeah. Well, that's in terms of repo policies, but does that not come out of the box from GitHub? I think, is that not configurable from? Well, I guess you probably have to control that
it
at
is.
low level within GitHub. Yeah. But I guess yeah.
But you just have to click through it, and then somebody
Yeah.
will do it manually or whatever. This
Yeah, you'd have to have a repo admin type scenario. Yeah. Okay. But I think, for CI, like we're not really testing Kubernetes though in this project. You know what I mean? Um, you know, are we really? But in terms of pros usefulness in that space, I don't think we're making full use of it really.
Oh, I mean, for CI, I was investigating a few different scenarios just to offload pure CI things from Prowess. It's actually good in the things that it's doing, but for a CI, it works for a simple job. So, for example, you're running a linter on your PR. So that's cool, and you have everything like on one dashboard. So that's
Yeah.
pretty cool. But if you want, like for example, if you want to chain some jobs or make like a dependency that if one finishes, the other one starts,
Yeah.
it doesn't have this functionality because it wasn't really designed to do it.
Yeah. With
Like
the
the
bug, but yeah,
CI part is kind of like a
yeah.
added
But
benefit
say your GitHub Actions is kind of built for that. Is built specifically for that use case.
Yep.
For chaining CI jobs, for
Exactly.
a pipeline, like,
Exactly.
Yeah, you could combine the two. I don't know, but I guess it's up to the release people. It's up to the project. That's just my opinion. Anyway, I leave it there.
I think it's the best course of action would be to combine those two. There are pro alternatives, but they are all kind of like paid service kind of things. So I guess it's worth to keep it. And for things like more complicated CI, just use GitHub Actions. I was just wondering about like how to present its results in one place. So you like if you run like a few jobs or you create like a few PRs, so you don't have to go through every repo, just have like a one common dashboard. I
Yeah.
wonder if you can put results from the GitHub Actions to, for example, to TestGrid, to have kind of like a all-in-one place to see. I have to investigate it.
I haven't looked at that, but I would assume that if you are using, so the couple of workflows that I added for Porch are running on the default runners, so they're GitHub runners, so it's using their resources, like. But if you are using custom or self-hosted runners like in GCP, I'd be fairly sure there'd be some way of exporting the the job or the logs or whatever to either to an internal GCP entity. I'm fairly sure there's something in there to do that, but or somewhere else, just dump them somewhere for them to be
I mean, log
ingested.
can be a part of the job, so it doesn't really matter on which runner it will run. You will just push it to whatever, to some Elastic, or just store it in I don't know, in a bucket or
Yeah,
whatever. But
but having a dashboard, I know what you mean. Having a dashboard for it.
yeah, having like a one concise space where you can just go, like you go to Pro and you see your PR and you have your
Yeah.
job, or you see, oh, my lint is failing or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's one thing to investigate, but but I think that's a good idea to start using GitHub Actions more for more complicated jobs, and just see how it goes. What are the challenges with it? And I guess it's a good thing to check this out.
Yeah, I think I tend to agree with the sentiment here. Use the tool that is best suited for the job. I think Rado, you feel that probably using both makes sense. I'm okay with that. So one question though, I think maybe I may not understand this properly, but at what point of time there was a GitHub action in a PR that had blocked the merging of PRs uh, because there was GitHub actions and it was kind of playing not well with Pro. Did we
Yeah,
resolve that situation, or the situation like that still exists?
there is a workaround. You just have to manually push the commit. The thing is, it's probably some of defense mechanisms from GitHub, where because this only happens when you don't have your GitHub actions configured and you pushing the initial configuration. So probably there's some there is something going on between the browse merging component tied and GitHub itself. I haven't found the solution for it. There's not much in issues regarding this. So might be that it's something in configuration of our GitHub organization or just in our particular Pro version. This will have to be explored further. For now, there is the workaround. Somebody with write access just have to merge this manually. Once they are configured, the next updates they are just merged like any other PR. So it only happens on the initial.
Yeah,
So
but I guess Bala, you're right in terms of I think there was an issue before in that if say for example if this one the one I have up at the moment is stuck, right? But if there was a merge on Porch now on a separate PR, I think that's also blocked, is it not? I think didn't that happen before?
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, I guess so. Yeah,
Yeah.
you
So
have,
everything in the queue would be blocked then until 23 is pushed in manually.
yeah,
Yes,
you're
yes.
right.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
so exactly, it did not block itself. It blocked everything, everything else too. So, so is there? But is it like? So it's basically one thing, one-time pain is what I'm understanding. As long as that's pushed, everything else will be unblocked from that point onwards. So basically, is it a one pain point per repo?
Yeah, it only happens on initial configuration.
Per workflow. Per workflow. So that's a new workflow that I pushed in there now. So a brand new file under the it seems to be under the anything under the I don't know what the you haven't looked into Tide, but it seems to be any new file under the .github directory.
Oh, okay.
I think I don't know. Well, I don't know how does it detect that it's a. I think when it would say, for instance, when I had to when I'm pushing a new workflow, I have to provide a GitHub token with permissions associated to so to allow me to push a new workflow. So
So is it?
there's something within GitHub that does ensure that you have privileges to push a new action or to push a new workflow. So I'm guessing that's what sets off the I don't know, I'm guessing, but that's an assumption. But I think it's only on the initial instantiation of a new workflow. I would hope that, if somebody edited a workflow, it wouldn't do the same thing. I think I haven't tested that. I might test that just to see actually if it's a change to any of those files.
So if you were to do a new workflow, for example, under the same repo, you will see the same behavior. Is that what you're saying, Pedro?
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing now. So I put one in for the end to end on Porch, and then this one here, 23 that I posted is for the CLI end to end. So it's a new workflow file, if you like, a new workflow YAML.
Okay, so basically the pain happens with every workflow file, not just the first one.
Yes.
The new one and not the updates. It would seem.
I
I
haven't tested update, but yeah, I'd hope not. Yeah.
yeah, I have to look into this. So in the meantime, here's a kind of like a pro alternative that some projects are using, which basically offers the most of this functionalities. Um, it works with other Git providers though, but it's a paid thing, and it's not exactly cheap, so it's like $5 a month per user in the cheapest one. So for example, connected home IP project, which is also a large project, uses this one, and generally it helps with the maintaining of the repositories and so on. So I don't think we're gonna abandon Pro completely. I just think we have to move the CI from it, because the generally how it started, it had some like rudimentary setup there. We have to get moving quickly to be able to test the code, compliance, and to create the release. So just for the sake of doing this swiftly, we've just went and used what was already there in place. But it over time, I've guessed we've reached its limit when it comes to the more complicated jobs, and we have to investigate other solutions, and GitHub Actions seems to be fitting well in what we're doing. So I guess over time we'll migrate some, if not most, of the jobs that Prow's doing right now to GitHub Actions.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Obviously, we will not abandon the Pro at this point of time. So, so there are no other workarounds at all, other than obviously we can handle this. For example, if any new workflow comes, we can just tag it. We can force the people to take a look at it with expediency. We can ask the community in Slack. And then we can do all those things. Obviously, we can manage it. So I'm just thinking, is there any other way at all to circumvent this particular situation? Is that the only way?
Well,
any new workflow, basically we had to
well, I have to test the latest version of Prow, because the one we have, it's a bit old right now. So I haven't seen any issues filed against Prow with similar behavior, but I guess there might be some changes in GitHub API that might, for example, cause this, and with the newer version, it won't. So on my test environment, I have to test the latest version if that's the case. It will take some time, though. I've recently broken my Pro instance here, so I have to revive it.
Can we check the Tide logs? Is there a Tide instance, the Tide controller or something that runs in private? I don't know, but can we check the logs in Tide?
It has very, very sparse information. Let me show you.
Yeah, but like you said, Bala, like for this, say that PR now 23, it requires somebody with repo admin privileges to push it in manually. So I think that may be the owner's file. I'm not sure, but say like I got Tal the last time, and maybe John or someone did at the time before, to push them in manually, which isn't ideal, but it means that someone with privileges needs to push it in.
Yeah, we also need to increase that bucket of that owner's files too. That's another thing as well. That was in the discussion. Starley is also thinking about it. We'll see. The other, I think
that's
showing something. Yeah.
If that's visible, those are Tide logs. They are not really very verbose when it comes to what's actually happening. So in this particular problem, I've went through quite a lot of logs. You can save them, but by the way, from here, I haven't found anything particular, but it's like returning some error or like forbidden or whatever. So it's probably some internals. I think I will test the upgraded version, the newer version of Prow, and we'll see if this fixes it. Then we can just apply it in production.
Thanks.
Cool, thanks. I think like, yeah, let's figure this out. Otherwise, our workaround is general strategy is to like use GitHub Actions more, and then for every workflow. So Fiakra, this what do you think in terms of workflow? How often a workflow file could be checked into repo? Or is yeah,
No, pretty rare. Like that's, I don't think, pretty rarely. I wouldn't.
pretty rarely. Okay.
Yeah, I wouldn't. It's not common, no, to create a whole new workflow. No. So say for the Porch project, there's probably, there's two CI jobs, two CI end-to-end jobs to you probably add an additional one, or it can be the jobs can be all defined in the one YAML file, that's another option, but it's better to have them separated in my view. But no, it's pretty seldom, I would say, that you push a new YAML.
Okay, got it.
If
So
I hope that's the only blocker, because if an update also triggers this issue, that'd be annoying. I'm not sure. I'd have to test that. But yeah, updating an existing YAML, I would hope
got it.
that would, yeah.
Yeah. So and then basically for every major repo, we will have one of these workflows, right? If you were to use GitHub Actions in all the repos.
Yeah, one or more. Yeah, one or more.
One or more.
Yeah.
Yeah. One or more. Yeah, that's what I mean. All right, I think it looks like it's still manageable because our main repos is not much at this point of time. If you see, like a lot of them moved into the experimental. Our main repos are like a free 5GC catalog, API, and a few other things. So I think the main repo itself is Nefio. I think it's manageable, although it will be ideal to find a other better solution. So that's it. Akash has raised hand. Please go ahead, Akash.
Yes, just a quick update actually, Bala. So I have pushed the PR which for the this Packer build for pre-baked Nefio image. So I have received the comments from Victor. So I will be try to creating right now that is done in GitHub Actions. So I will try to use the Prow job for that.
I think it's okay. I think if so is the comment that you got was not to use it?
No, because the environment variables what we need actually will be available with Prow. So there is no need to create the separate environment for the GitHub Actions. So this job can be handled by a Prow job.
Okay, you're saying this
building of image, yeah.
This is a better, well, Prow is a better tool for this particular job. That's what you're saying.
Yeah. Because I think we only want to build this fortnightly, so there is only a periodic job required to run the Packer build actually every night or on the periodic.
Cool. Does it create a VM image or?
Yes, it creates the VM image with the Prow with Nefio core components, management cluster.
Management cluster. Okay, got it. Thank you. So Fiakra, Rado, any feedback to Akash on this one?
No, I didn't. I saw Victor's comment, but yeah, if it makes case in point, if it makes more sense to use the resources of Prow for stuff like this, then that's fine. But I think, in terms of the default GitHub runners, I think they're fairly small. They're like 4 CPU, 8 gig RAM. They're small. So if was that the reason? I didn't. Sorry. I'll have a look at Victor's comment. Yeah, but if it makes sense to run on Prow, then that's fine. Yeah.
So I think the other thing is it's not the resource. It did not sound like a resource issue here. I think it looks like Akash had to create certain environment variables, and apparently they're already available in the Pro environment that we have.
Yeah, because
okay.
Yeah, because some separate environment is required because to access the GitHub actually from the GitHub Actions actually. So and the GCP. So we can totally avoid that actually. So using Prow. That is what I think Victor means. Yeah.
Cool. That makes absolute sense. Yeah.
All right, Akash, probably we can do that. And you can also do a side-by-side comparison if you were to do maybe one or, yeah, part of me thinking, 2 PRs and we can compare how it's also a good educational thing for, since we are always debating between these two technologies.
Yeah. Okay, Bala.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks,
Yeah.
Akash. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Cool. I wanted to discuss one more topic, but anyway, we are on the top of the hour. I think probably let's discuss it next time about community development. So, cool. Thank you everyone today, especially Rado and Fiacra, for very nice discussions we had today. So all have a great day. I think Rado, you will have to stop the recording since.
Yep.
Cool. Please go ahead and stop the recording, and then.
No worries.
Cool. Have a great day, all of you. I'll see you next one. Take care.